up on today's UI7 Newsbreak.
It was a simple fight that went to a murder.
A shooting in Urbana has officials speaking during a public safety forum. We have a local's reaction to the discussion.
Plus, early voting is in the works. Find out how you can cast your vote and beat the crowds.
And finally,
we actually drove the RV from our wedding to our reception.
We show you how one local's tradition begins and ends with his RV.
Your UI7 Newsbreak starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, this is your UI7 Newsbreak.
Coming up on today's UI7 Newsbreak, a shooting in Urbana has officials speaking.
Hello and welcome to your UI7 Newsbreak. I'm Michaela Johnson.
And I'm Natasha Mosqueda. Urbana police continue to investigate a shooting that left one person injured around midnight on Saturday. Officers were called to the 1100 of South Learman Avenue where they found evidence of the shooting at the scene. They were later informed that a person with a gunshot wound had arrived at Carl Emergency Department. There's currently no word on the victim's condition. Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to call the Urbana Police Department at 217-384-2320.
In related news, police and city officials held a safety forum with members of the Champaign-Urbana community last week following September's fatal Champaign shooting that left one person dead. While community leaders say they have measures in place to reduce violence, some residents say it's not enough. UI7's Newsbreak's John Wong has the story.
What's going on in Urbana? What's going on in Champaign? Champaign and Urbana community leaders gathered on the University of Illinois campus last Thursday to discuss safety. The forum was organized by the Illinois Student Senate and moderated by Senate President Ron Lewis. The main topic of discussion, September's fatal shooting in Champaign that left one person dead. The panel consisted of notable faces from the Champaign and Urbana Police and Sheriff's Offices, University of Illinois Police Department, City Council, and the mayors of both Champaign and Urbana. Champaign resident Jerome White says that the community leaders' efforts are a little too little, much too late.
They putting the resources in the wrong places. They don't recognize that this kid is from out the hood, and the guy that got killed is trying to elevate his life. But the kid out the hood don't have anything to do, so he transferred over on campus to find something to do. It was a simple fight that went to a murder.
And what exactly are those resources that White is talking about? Champaign Mayor Deborah Finan explains.
We continue to work with the Community Coalition and the CU Fresh Start program. So the CU Fresh Start program is, aimed directly at getting the violent offenders off the streets and getting guns off of our streets.
While the forum focused primarily on the fatal shooting in Champaign last month, Urbana itself has also had a violent past couple of days, as there have been at least 3 reported shootings in the past 2 weeks alone. None fatal, but driving home the community leaders' message that safety remains a critical issue in and around the campus and the community. And according to White, there's still much more work to be done.
When I come outside of my house, I step over a dope fiend, I bump into a prostitute. After doing 26 years, they give me $10 and some tight sweatpants. But I'm set up for failure.
In Champaign, John Wong, UI7.
In other local news, voting for the general election does not officially start until November 8th, but that has not stopped citizens from voting early in Champaign, some of whom have said demographics are driving the election. Citizens over the age of 18 were able to start voting back on September 29th on campus. Ethan Wampler, an early voter, says this general election is important because he thinks it is the first where millennials have equal voting power as baby boomers. A Pew Research Center study says the Democratic Party is becoming less white, less religious, and better educated at a faster rate than the country as a whole, whereas the Republican Party is becoming more diverse, better educated, and less religious at a slower rate than the country.
In other news, although it may not feel like fall, it certainly looks like it. UI7's Jordan Moore finds out why leaves change color and why they may be hanging on a little longer than usual this year.
Although most notice and admire the warm change in leaf color, few know why it happens. Diane Anderson, the ground manager at the Arboretum, explains part of why the beautiful change in leaves occur is because they cannot absorb sunlight.
Generally, fall color is triggered more by the length of the night. When days get shorter, that means the nights are longer, and that's generally what triggers fall color.
It turns out there is also science behind why leaves from different trees turn different colors. The leaves on the ground end up different colors, say like this brown one versus this yellow and orange one, are different because the pigments that are left over when the chlorophyll is gone from the leaves are different. We're lucky in Illinois to have so many types of trees so that the pigments left over are all different. That is what gives us such a beautiful and colorful autumn. Although the leaves are beautiful and fun for kids to play in when they turn crunchy and brown, for adults, like gardener Margaret Maguire, they are also a lot of work.
By this time of year, I'm waiting for the leaves to fall because I've hired somebody to come and sweep them up, but if they're not on the ground, they can't do their job.
Unfortunately for Maguire, Anderson is expecting a long fall.
The soil moisture is good. It hasn't been too hot, so they aren't bleaching out particularly fast, so I think we should have a glorious fall.
Although the temperature may not be catching on that summer is over, it is safe to say that the leaves have. In Urbana, I'm Jordan Moore, UI7 Newsbreak.
We'll be right back after this short break.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. And you get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. Our whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
Thanks.
Today is known as the Day of the Dead.
Here's how some families in the area are showing their appreciation for this Mexican holiday.
So it's $3 to craft today, but there's a ton of crafts.
There was life at the Spurlock Museum earlier this week. People gathered here to celebrate Dia de los Muertos through arts and crafts. This included a station for skull painting and decorating. Visitors could also walk away with handmade marigolds. These gifts are meant to attract the dead and connect them with their loved ones. The Day of the Dead has been a part of the Mexican culture for over 3,000 years. It stands as a day to remember and honor those who have passed away.
This year, the homecoming parade did more than connect the alumni back to their roots. It fostered a love for the school in those too young to know what letters come after ILL. Caleb Dixon came out to the parade with his grandma and plans on following in her footsteps by coming to U of I with some big goals of his own. The many floats, clubs, and passionate alumni that came out for the homecoming parade only inspired kids like him more to make U of I their future home. Starting at 6th Street and wrapping around the quad, ending on Nevada Street, kids like Caleb could be seen squirming with excitement. Caleb agreed that gathering the candy at the parade came before prepping for college tonight.
In sports news, the Chicago Cubs and Cleveland Indians were back in Cleveland last night for Game 6 of the World Series. There was a lot on the line as the Indians had a chance to clinch their first title in 68 years. Jake Arrieta started for the Cubs while the Indians sent Josh Tomlin to the mound. Chris Bryant got things started with a solo shot just 7 pitches into the game. Addison Russell followed that up with a 2-run double. Russell wasn't done there. He took Tomlin deep for a grand slam in the top of the 3rd to put the Cubs up 7-0. Mike Napoli got the Tribe on the board in the 4th. His RBI single brought in Jason Kipnis. Kipnis would add a home run of his own in the next inning, bringing the game to a score of 7-2. The Cubs' Anthony Rizzo, who struggled earlier in the playoffs, added a 2-run insurance homer in the top of the ninth, knocking in Chris Bryant.
We came out hitting the baseball. We looked more normal. We hit our home run. I just know our hitters felt better about everything. Our approaches were better. We're hitting the ball over the ballpark, working good at bats, played great defense. How about Jason, and the double play by Javi was incredibly good.
Local Cubs fan Addison Boyd has an interesting connection to the team.
So my name is Addison, and I was named after the street that Wrigley Field sits on, which is Clark and Addison Street. So, my family has been Cubs fans for over a century. I don't know, to me it's something special. It's certainly like a way of life to be a Cubs fan, because being a Cubs fan is you're a lovable loser.
The Cubs and Indians play the decisive Game 7 tonight in Cleveland at 7 p.m.
Back on campus, Dad's Weekend culminates in Saturday's Illinois-Michigan State football game. The Illini and the Spartans are among the Big Ten's worst teams this season, with one win between the teams. Illinois is riding a 2-game losing streak, and Michigan State has lost 5 straight. The Spartans have won 3 straight over the Illini, including a 42-3 win in 2013, the team's most recent matchup. Illinois head coach Lovie Smith said Monday that Dad's Day is a special day because many of his players learned football from their fathers.
It's Dad's Day, and that's special, for our players. I mean, we guys that have played, it's one thing to have a Mom's Day, but a lot of time Dad has been an athlete too. He really kind of knows what you're going through a little bit, and a lot of special relationships there. And I know there's a lot of people you want to impress, but most guys would say they definitely want to impress their fathers. So hopefully we'll get that type of effort.
Tailgating is a little brighter for one dad in his Illini-themed recreational vehicle. UI7 Newsbreak, Rachel Lenosi has more on all that this RV has been through.
Tailgating a University of Illinois football game was never a question for locals Ben Wackler and Doug Tepovich, 2 friends who share an orange and blue RV that displays their longtime Illini pride. However, for Tepovich, it means more than just drinking and eating. It's at this RV tailgate where he met his wife.
She showed up, and by the end of the day, after 12 hours of drinking, I proposed and said, I think I love you. You were the most amazing woman I've ever met. And we've been married for 4 years now. We have an 8-month-old. We actually drove the RV from our wedding to our reception. So this has a lot of sentimental value for us.
But unlike their love, this hand-painted RV didn't happen in an instant. It took a few weekends and a few cases of beer to complete.
We ended up finding this RV, this Butte right here, $1,200. We gutted it. The inside of it, we got turf from the stadium from the 90s. It's wall-to-wall turf on the inside, and we've been using it ever since.
And they've been using it for 12 years now. They park it the night before a football game, then come a few hours before kickoff to get the party started.
This orange and blue RV is out here to tailgate. As you can hear, the music's loud and everyone's having a good time. Cheers!
For these locals, it doesn't seem like it'll be anytime soon that tailgating in their unique RV will stop.
Every year I decide, do I want to keep doing this? And at the end of the year I go, this is great, why not?
And luckily for Wackler and Tepovich, they know just the guy to continue their tradition later down the line, baby Tepovich.
I'm going to leave all of this to him. The hat, the RV, it's all going to come right his way.
The RV with food, drinks, music, and dancing will of course be back this upcoming weekend for another Illini football game. In Champaign, Rachel Lenosi, UI7 Newsbreak.
That food at that tailgate looked so good.
Really? My goodness. Honestly, I'm so hungry right now. I don't even want to think about it.
That's all for this week's edition of your UI7 Newsbreak.
Make sure to follow us on social media at UI7 Newsbreak for more stories every week. Thank you for tuning in.